Hey, carports. Tell you what, I love carports. So I have a couple garages at the McKay Away compound, as I call it. I've got multiple cars, like my little sporty Mercedes here. I don't like to park cars side by side in them. You know, I just get in and out too quick. So, and I have another garage over there, and I have a huge garage here, but I don't like to clutter them up completely with cars. But so I had this carport just installed. And what you'll see is I had the carport installed, we leveled it up, and now after the fact, I'm putting in the foundation. So you can see, even though when we set this up, we set it on, you can see these square rocks that are cut. These are cut limestone. So we got it good and level. And then that way, when I had time, I have my guys, my regular crew here, dig a footing, and we form it up here, and now you can already see we got some drop anchors. It's kind of nailed down, if you can imagine. But if you look down here, if you look down in here, you can see there's a little hook. And so that'll set up. When it's dry, then we'll crank it down a little bit more. We'll strip the forms, and then what I'll do is I'll put a little patch of split-faced limestone like you see here. See how that's tucked in neatly? And then that way, when you drive up, that'll, blend it. We'll put on the inside too over there. And we'll give you an after shot, of course. But you know what? But like now this carport, just to talk about different kinds and different ones. So this one is a little bit more than a lot of the, you'll see the other carports are just kind of rounded over, almost kind of like a semi-Quonset hut looking thing. Where this one here is kind of square cut. It's got an overhang. It's got trim. You can see it kind of nicely matches the buildings and the trim on the home. Behind it and around it, and on my other property over here. But it's a wonderful thing, especially when you're a place that's prone to hail. You have company or guests, you can get a couple cars in here. I can put two in there. I can put another one in there. So everybody can kind of be covered just in the event, hail or rain or whatever. But and they're fantastic for other things. I've got commercial buildings where I've put little smoking area, pop up a carport, costs $1,500. This one probably costs $2 or $3 grand, I don't know. But I've got other ones similar size that are a little bit cheaper style, that if they're more utilitarian, then, they'll pop that behind a barn or next to another building, or, I got food parks. They're actually kind of convenient little place for people to get shade, stand in the rain when Uber comes to pick up the foods from the trailers. Food trailers, food trucks, they got a place to stand and be, out of the weather, whatever it may be. All right, let's check the progress. So, hey, are you going to use the wand to take the air out or not? Yeah? You have it? Okay, good deal. We have a wand, takes all the air out of it, so the forms look nice and smooth when they're done. So you can see they're mixing, and because of the narrow gap, they got to fill this with a shovel. So they're getting that down in. They got just the remainder to go. See the concrete mixing in here. How many sacks did that take? 1 3/4 pallets. Almost 2 full pallets of concrete. You can see this one's already done. They got it filled. We're gonna put a little rock on the inside here and on the outside so it matches the rock you see on the patio there. Well, we're gonna have a rock ledge because when we pull the form out, we're gonna have a little step down below the grade, at least 1.5 inches, and a little bit more because some spills out. And so we'll put kind of a thin cut, real rock like you see there though. But, and that's what's happening. So we'll come back when we strip the forms. All right, and we're wrecking the forms, as we say. Some people like to say stripping the forms. I always say wrecking the forms. So you can see we've already pulled the boards off, and you take a look at the concrete here, and you kind of see the wood grain, right? You see the wood grain of the form, because it makes a perfect imprint. So today that's what they'll do. They'll take this off, and you can see down here, when we pull this last board off, you can see there's a shelf down there of concrete, same width as this board. And that'll act as what we call our rock ledge. You can see over here, there's a rock ledge on all this patio too. Same here, we call it a brick ledge if it's a brick ledge, but that's what you always have is your slab. Your slab sits here, and then it usually sits down about 2 inches is what your rock or your brick ledge. If it's a brick ledge, you might get away with 5 inch. If it's rock ledge, you might go 6, 7 inches, because it depends on the rock, too, the masonry in general. So anyway, so they'll strip these out, and then we'll go find matching limestone. This stuff is actually 4 inches thick, so I'll maybe have to take you guys out to the quarry, but I'll have them split so that there may be about 2-inch pieces. And that way when you pull up, you'll see just a little bit there, because I'm going to raise the drive in here. But if you look this way, you'll see rock. If you're coming in from, from back on this side, you'll see rock on this side, and it ties in and matches to the house nicely. And that's always the goal. So we'll come back when it's done. All right, man, they got it done quicker than I expected. And you can see that's the desired look, right? Tying the carport in with the original rock on the house here on the right. And did a beautiful job. We've got the inserts. You can see we have some, little triangular type pieces of rock in here. Inserted those, and even on the interior wall you see over there, ties in nicely to the same thing that we have over here. And that was it. Just makes a relatively inexpensive carport look a lot nicer. And let's take a look over here. Yep. Now, of course, we got a little bit of a grade, but it's level. And you can see even on this side, even though we're just seeing a little bit of it, you still want everything to be consistent. When you're looking this way, same thing. Everything ties in together nicely to the left and right. So, hey, look, I got a seminar almost every Thursday night, 7 p.m. I made tens of millions of dollars in real estate investing. Started when I was 19. Got many multi-millionaires in my class, people that have only been in real estate a few years, but with little mentoring, becoming millionaires. It's really a cool thing. So hit that subscribe button and like and comment, and it helps the channel, but also, really seriously, go to FlipAnythingUSA.com. If you don't look into it, you'll never know. Look at the testimonials, look at the life-changing things that have gone on for, husbands and wives that have kids, that want to see a path to retirement, want to see a path to putting their kids through college, or just whatever, having fun and helping the people helping the people because you picked up a little more on the way. So that's it. Thanks for watching.